Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. It is where we are. I think it's Monday, the 4th of May. Happy May. Hopefully, we are moving beyond COVID and coronavirus and maybe starting to see the economies of the world open up again. I did take a week off there, nice little break, sort of recharge the batteries. So had actually a really interesting broiler chicken show, a public offering. Talked lots, of course, about crypto and what to expect with halvening and all that kind of stuff. And also, too, next week, May 11th, is the beginning of our next school term. So level 1s, level 2s, level 3s are all getting registered and ready to go. And I had mentioned in the Broiler Chicken Show yesterday that we'll have a raffle for a seat in the level 1 program as sort of like a PMA kind of public service, half marketing, whatever. If you are watching this today and you didn't watch the Broiler Chicken Show, what I suggested to everybody was if you did want to participate in the raffle, if you are interested in the level 1 program, just put a comment down in the comments. I'll mention this every day this week that you would like to be put in the raffle, and next Broiler Chicken Show, Sunday the 10th, we'll raffle off, and probably already about 20 or 30 people have already submitted their names. So, on a statistical basis, that's not a bad actual gamble, considering a lot of your odds when you participate in a lottery. But nonetheless, I will mention this sort of every day this week. If you are interested in the level 1 raffle, basically it is our level 1 school program. And I might even take like a screenshot just so you have a good idea of what is actually involved in the level 1 program. And as I said, it's coming up this week. And, maybe you throw your name in the raffle. You don't happen to win, but you're so motivated that you're like, what the heck, for the price that they're charging, I'll just do it anyway. Anyway, long and short of it here, thought I'd mention it, and I'll be mentioning it every day. Just drop your name in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring Colleen's bell, all that kind of fun stuff, and you'll be in the raffle for Sunday. Your sheet, as I usually do, I like to concentrate just on a very sort of specific message for you guys. Always a good idea. Start out of the gate. What the hell's this? Pine editor. Sorry. Let's try that again. There's the button I wanted with US dollar index. Interesting to see. We talked lots about how this compression in price is coiling. They actually got ready to actually break it down on Friday's action. You can notice right out of the gate, first thing this morning, outside upside key reversal. Well, not technically a key reversal yet. If we close above this high, 99.73, that does become a key reversal. Which, of course, is a risk-off kind of proxy. Everybody's running into U.S. dollars and getting the hell out of everything else. So I do believe that this consolidation is continuing, with actually now starting to see some buying pressure coming in off the low end of the range here. And it seems logical to me. Interestingly enough, this M here is now confirmed, right? We closed below that level. So to a certain degree, the market had the green light. Okay, risk on. We're all going to rock and roll party. The only problem was that Europe was actually closed a good portion of it on this May 1st event. So people came back to work first thing Monday morning in Europe and started to sell off the euro hard against that US dollar and took back this signal. So it's actually also, too, a really good sort of warning about be careful interpreting too much action in through holiday sessions, especially on something like big currency baskets. Having said that, basically I think we're still pretty much stuck in this range, and we're also seeing like basically the risk on risk off assets are also sort of calming down and coiling down. Everybody's getting ready sort of for the next big move. And, of course, the news out of North America is we are starting to open back up in European countries. I saw news out of things like Spain and stuff are starting to open back up. So we might find that if a whole bunch of new, COVID cases get reported, that we're right back into this kind of environment. Maybe that's a big honk in AB equals CD. Regardless, today we're still just stuck in this range. Nothing really new to report currency-wise. Risk on, risk off, and it's actually interesting. While I was gone, stocks actually did go up and hit a bullish objective that I had painted for quite a while. And more importantly, for a guy like me, there was this big old hole on the price charts. This is what we call a gap. And you can notice that basically they took the market right up into that gap, and then there was so much selling interest. On this day, all the people that say bought this reload zone here, they got destroyed. And in essence, think of this counter trend rally as their opportunity to get out where they actually originally wanted to get out, which was the gap. So on the gap fill, on the AB equals CD event fill, also too, we talked, I guess previously about, massive head and shoulders is type patterns. We're coming up into the area where really we should be expecting this market to start topping out. And also too, if you do things like fibs, this was like, I think we have on here, this was a 61.8 retracement, which of course is good old Mountain Man. So we have gap, we have AB equals CD, we have Mountain Man. What a surprise, the market had to pull back. Gee whiz. Anyway, shake it. We certainly don't have a breakdown per se here. I'd say this is your bottom end of the range, about 20, what is that, 20, I'm an old man, can't even read the screen here. About, what does it say, about 2,700 roughly on the ES, and the top there is about 2950, 2960. So, that's basically our playground. We might do like a head and shoulders here and then work our way back down. And like I've been telling you guys for a while, my next sort of pivot is that end of June, beginning of July. So I don't know what this looks like, but my hunch is probably going to look something along those lines. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Long and short of it here, and we'll see other anecdotal evidence in a bit. Risk on was definitely getting a little overdone there, and they're basically just cleaning the market up right now. The oil market, again, real funny business. I don't know whether you're ever going to see this again in your lifetime. I've never seen this before. But it looks to me like on the other side of this nutso insano event, we've actually gone and put in a little bit of a W here on oil. Now, it's done it with a whole bunch of gaps, and I have noticed quite a few oil stocks that our community follows. Remember, I don't really want to invest in oil anymore. So I'm not really that interested in this, but I can completely understand from a trade. I suppose there are W's. There's 38.2 off of this crazy level. I don't know whether we can include those kind of candles there. That was $6.71. I'm not really going to make any huge commentary about this other than the fact that it looks like oil has finally gone and found some buying support. So dips down against probably, low teens are probably going to be buying areas, and rallies up into high 20s are going to be selling areas, and that's your trading range now for the next little while. Probably have to maybe I'll be watching like the individual contracts now, because clearly we can't do any analysis with that chart. Kind of that same theme about risk on, risk off. Everybody's just sort of squaring up and sitting sideways. Not really seeing a huge movement in stocks, but seeing basically almost no movement in the bond market at all. And again, we had talked about bullish setups setting up through here. Really nothing has changed there. Market's just gone dormant. And that's not really a big surprise. Same thing with the gold. Had big pop-up, sort of suggesting inverted head and shoulders. I still think these things are still working. Nothing's changed here. And what I found interesting about the gold, of course, is now we have this low, which takes us all the way down here, and this low is a little bit higher. So we might just go and W out here and get ready for another leg higher. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but don't be shocked if it does. I don't really have a trade, especially with like a gap higher like that. This very sloppy action. So probably not a heck of a lot for a guy like me to do here. And on balance, if I was going to be investing my money, in fact, actually I even put tweets out to this effect, I would much rather invest in something like Bitcoin than physical gold, but that's just me. I do have some gold stocks on the books. They're higher than where I bought them. I'm not really in a huge hurry to do anything with any of those right now. Actually, there was one lithium company that I bought recently. What the hell was it? It was a reorganization. Of course, I love reorganization stories. Roll the stock back, shares for debt, options to directors, all that kind of fun stuff. But it's not really a gold stock, so I don't know whether I really want to get into this today. But it was a stink bid right against the bottom end of the range, this ARS. I mean, you should look at a chart like that and go, well, I can completely understand why Beamish is buying. You can see the little W's coming in here, so I went and picked up a whack of this at a dime. It's not a bad-looking little stock. But this is very venture cap screen model kind of conversation. You can see they rolled the stock back, options to directors, shares for debt, all that kind of talk. So it's very, very specific stories. Not really probably anything the public should even be the slightest bit interested in, but it is a strategy that we cover in our education program. And anybody who likes to play penny stocks, it's an interesting way of looking at the market. As for the big kind of conversation here about the gold market, clearly if we lose these levels here and we start emming out, well, this whole sort of inverted head and shoulders thesis is going to be tested. For the time being, there's really nothing to do. And I think I had sort of pointed this out before. I wouldn't fault traders if they came in and bought against the bottom end of this range and just said, look, if we lose these lows, I'm gone. But at the same time, too, that's probably a very specific trading plan, and it's not something I'd be interested in. Anyway, it is what it is. Moving on. Stockland, I picked up a little bit of this Mara. In fact, I gave you another one, this ARS. You should see these kind of names. Why would Brian be buying into these? Basically that Mara, so the chart looks basically the same. I had said, look, I went in, I put even a tweet, I said, look, I went in, I picked some of this up. Wish me luck. I mean, it's a trader's life. Everybody, keep your fingers crossed. No idea what's going to happen. Live by the sword, die by the sword. There was a stock that I bought in this crypto space, and they went and voluntarily delisted themselves off the NASDAQ and listed themselves on the OTC exchange, and the stock fell by 50% in a heartbeat. So don't be surprised in these kind of little penny stocks. This kind of shit can happen all the time. Now, if the idea works and this thing's got some legs behind it, you can see I could double, triple, quadruple my money fairly easily on this. But there's no guarantees from the management. You have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And actually, it's an interesting dovetail because here's, you can see I track a bunch of altcoins. And it turns out that, same sort of logic. Here was a name, and I even mentioned this in the broiler chicken show yesterday. And I owned a whole bunch of people who were like, oh, I just went and bought when you said that. And I was like, oh, God, don't do this, please. Because if this idea didn't work, of course, all of you would shit on my head. But it's kind of funny. This one just did not look back. And we were lucky we got able to get off a double, sold half of the position. So in essence, I have a risk-free trade on the UBIC now. Mara might do the same thing. It might crap out. It's just, it's a trader's life. Get used to it. Heading over to the corn in particular. Actually, the only other thing I wanted to mention about the stock market is, remember we talked about the Russell 2000 versus the large caps? While I was gone, actually, we had a really nice little rally window in some of the small cap stocks. And I did notice on the site quite a few, TRI, SOF kind of people. They were banging out some big wins on some of the little penny stocks. It looks like that's calmed down. We have a nice inside bar reversal there. Bit of railroad tracks. So, kind of that conversation about risk on or things sort of just calming down here a little bit. I'm getting the impression from this study that we could do a bit of backfilling here over the next week or two. All right, now heading over to the corn. We're in kind of a precarious location anyway. We had been sort of thinking that the market wanted to work its way higher into pre-halvening rallies, so that's now happened. The question ultimately here, we are in a level reload zones, and of course against previous market structure fail levels. If this really is a bear, and the institutions did want to defend their shorts, then this is exactly where they would come in and do so. So really nothing surprising here. 78.6 is, we had mentioned a long period about Collins buddies, look left. If we were in, where would we look for resistance to come in? And indeed, they, on one candle, they blasted all of those guys, and they even took it right up into this liquidity pool. And like I said, the original market structure failure level up top there. Which, like I said, if you were an institutional player, I said this yesterday in the Broiler Chicken Show, if you wanted to be short this market, you can't sell down here. What you have to do is wait for the counter trend rally, back up into reload zones, back up against the original short level, and sure enough, bang. That's probably where they strapped on their shorts. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is a top. It's just a trader's, this is a trading range, right? And there are lots of market participants that are range traders. Mountain Man, you've heard me talk lots about him. The way that I'm looking at this right now is you can clearly see we have a consolidation. I had made reference in the Broiler Chicken Show that I thought this was our trading range. Bottom of this red candle there was about, 8,400 or so there over on Stamp. And the overnight low here this morning was 85.28. So, and we've left a fairly sizable tail, meaning that there are buyers that are stepping in and buying here. So I think we're creating some sort of triangle range here. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. Don't be surprised if we play in here. And really the bottom line now here is, do we go and W out here, i.e. new leg higher, bought setups, yada, yada, yada. Or do we go and M out here and probably do things like 50% retracements of this entire range up, right? So that would probably be something along the lines of there to there. So, oh, interesting, 666, the neighbor of the beast. No, wait a minute, that's 669. Anyway, would it shock me to see price come down here? Pre-halvening pump, pre-halvening dump, then sort of a sideways. That's usually how these halvening events go, but, obviously history never repeats itself exactly. What I'm just suggesting on the site is let's let this range resolve itself. Once it is resolved, then we can make some decisions about what we're going to do going forward. The only of the triumvirate here, the only one that really concerns me, well, actually two concern me. You can actually see ETH has gone and M'd out here. And you can also see LTC has gone and M'd out here. And ETH, if it actually closes below this 206 level, that's a clothesline sell signal, and institutional players are going to look at that and go, that's a big honkin' M. All right, we all know M's are what are you supposed to think when the market's smiling at you. So be careful there, all you Ethereum bulls. I would like, there is no M on Bitcoin just yet. And if anything, thinking sort of fractal talk. What this really means, fractal, is if we lose this low, that's at 85, whatever that low was there this morning, 85.28, big sell signal. We had sort of said yesterday, I sort of said yesterday that I thought that this low and the 13 EMA were going to be support. I thought on ETH this low and 13 EMA were going to be support. The low didn't hold. I guess it's these lows that are in play now. But the 13 EMA did its job there. And so now you can see if we move down back through 13 EMA, probably have to head back down to 30 SMA down here. And same thing on Litecoin. We said top of the range, bottom end of the range. 13 EMA was going to be supported. So that's basically what happened. The question ultimately now is, do we actually roll over, and is that it? And really, I think you could probably use these two levels as reference on Bitcoin. 9,200 to the upside, 8,500 to the downside. We see a price through either one of those. Probably that's going to tell you which way the market wants to go moving forward. Finish off this free video here for you guys here today. Interesting to see poop coins. Ubic got a double off today, so feeling pretty good about that. Nice free position. And actually, I even threw a bid in to buy some more down in here. And my hunch is this thing's going to come right back down to the bottom, and I'll get my my coins back just exactly like this pop. They brought it right back down to the bottom, so I'm not really in any big hurry here. And of course, if they do want to keep taking it higher, of course, I'll just keep spoon feeding the market. What I did find interesting today was looking at the poop coin index. Interesting enough, this poop coin index perp futures over on FTX, it's still working its way higher here. I found that fascinating. So if you had taken this bot setup, you can see the double bottom off the 25 level. Move stop to scratch, move stop to trailing. So now actually anybody who took this trade, you're now starting to trail stops against the previous lows. You could use the 3 high low method, 1, 2, 3, and probably have your stop just below these lows. But long and short of it here is I found it interesting. This long idea is still working. There's nothing really changing here. And of course, like I said, a really nice treat out of Ubik here today. Thank you very much, Ubik. Appreciate the rally. All right, everybody, I think I'll leave the free video at that. Like I said, if you are interested in participating in that level 1 raffle, drop your name in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring Colleen's bell, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.